We got to play this just because it was so fun to watch. Like, I'm not going to read Bill O'Reilly's book on Reagan,
Oh, really?
and
Yeah.
I've never liked George Will. Although I have to admit, I did read George Will's baseball book back in the day, and I do remember a comment he had about law school. But aside from that, that was the only thing I've found in my 25 or 30 years of awareness of George Will that I found even remotely reasonable. I enjoyed this probably more than I should. The best part about it, what it says, is about what Bill O'Reilly thinks good journalism involves. Apparently, when you're writing about a subject, don't talk to anybody who worked with him in any way or who criticized him in any way.
You who began this interview by saying I had a moral obligation to call you before writing about your book, wrote a book without feeling any obligation to talk to Ed Meese, George Shultz, Jim Baker, any of the other people who could have refuted the thesis.
And why did I not talk to them?
Because they would have refuted the flimsy thesis.
Because they have skin in the game. We don't talk to people when we're writing our books.
You mean they have knowledge of the game?
They have skin in the game, emotion in the game, spin in the game. We don't talk to anybody who was derogatory to the Reagans or anybody who was laudatory. We do our own investigation. You want me to read more? I got more. This meeting absolutely took place on page 245. It was absolutely taken seriously by Mr. Baker and everybody else. And the conclusion of the meeting was the president was fine. He was capable. And Killing Reagan is a laudatory book toward Ronald Reagan. And you didn't even mention that.
It is not a laudatory book.
It is a laudatory book, or you can't read.
It is doing the work of the left, which knows that in order to discredit conservatism, it must destroy Reagan's reputation as a president. And your book does the work of the American left with its extreme recklessness. And when you finally got around, after the book's publication, to scheduling an interview with Ed Meese, you then canceled it, saying you were vetting the memo.
We canceled it because Ed Meese wanted to come on with conditions. Nobody comes on with conditions.
So I do not understand how you vet a memo you've never seen.
All right, look, here's the deal. That memo was written. That meeting took place. All of what we write in Killing Reagan is true. You're a hack. You're in with the cabal of the Reagan loyalists who don't want the truth to be told. Killing Reagan is a laudatory book. It praises Ronald Reagan. Yet you didn't call me when you said you would. That's a fact.
Why do Reagan loyalists not want this laudatory book
Because
published?
they wanted a deification. They wanted a deification. They tried to get the book killed before it was even published. And you play right into their hands.
That, by the way, is a lie. That, by the way, is a lie.
That isn't a lie, and we can prove it, and you are a hack.
Do so. Do so, Mr. O'Reilly.
Oh, that is so wonderful. The look on George Will's face, I mean, he's turning red. He actually has to like put his hand on his face, almost as if like he's just like the idea that he would be called a hack on national television. It's just dripping. Now, Will now works for Fox too, right? And you know, that's the problem with working on Fox is like, if you get fired from there, you're basically done for George Will, right? I mean,
it's a no spin zone. I don't talk to people who know the people or met the people or worked with the people I write about. All right? All right? All right, George?
Every single part of this book is coming from someone who heard this stuff at least third hand.
Yeah. They don't have spin in the game that way. All right?
I can't tell you, and the vast majority heard this stuff fifth hand, mister.
You're a hack.
Don't accuse me of going to original sources. The source,
you speak to actual sources, you're a hack. You're the gutter. I do appreciate, though, that's the difference. George Will is a Ronald Reagan.
90% of this book came from stuff I found in other books. The other 10% was just my dedication.
And trust me, I tried to find other books that were also poorly sourced, all right?
None of those books spoke to anybody involved in this.
My book was based off of books that never had primary sources. You have no integrity. George Will's like the cultist. The Ronald Reagan cult, and O'Reilly, I like just like, yeah, I love Reagan, but fuck him too. You know, a few extra bucks. I'll throw the old man under the bus.